Obama calling President Trump a demagogue practicing fear and resentment. President Trump's response, his predecessor's boring. And the economy's roaring because of Republican policies like tax cuts, whose message we'll get through for the midterms. Let's talk about it with co-host of The Five right here on Fox News, Juan Williams, and former Republican congressman from Utah, Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz, also the author of the new book, The Deep State. Jason and Juan, welcome to you both.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about these two. They're so different. I mean, President Obama viewed very much as a statesman. This speech was long and it was flowery today. President Trump, listen, he's got a lot of energy and power. He riles up the crowds in a different way. Jason, what's the plus, what's the minus for President Obama being on the trail?
Well, look, President Obama was popular personally, but his policies were widely unpopular. It was one of the most scandalous administrations we've had in my lifetime. The economy is doing so much better under President Trump. Foreign policy is going exceptionally well. You look at what's going on with North Korea. You look at the fact that Donald Trump tore up the Iran nuclear deal. So foreign policy, the support and love of our troops, the economy's going better. And remember, under Barack Obama, the Democrats lost more than 1,000 seats across the nation. So Trump has a winning formula and a winning message. And look at how the audience has reacted. Just look at the Donald Trump audience compared to those sitting on their hands listening to Barack Obama.
Well, it's definitely a different mood, a different approach. So let's play a little bit more of these two on their differing ways of attacking things.
Each time we painstakingly pull ourselves closer to our founding ideals, that all of us are created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. The status quo pushes back.
Isn't this much more exciting than listening to President Obama say? Because we get things done.
Juan, two very different approaches to the campaign trail.
I don't think there's any difference. It's like oil and water. To my mind, what's interesting here is this is the experience I had listening to the two of them, because it was a very interesting day. You could see them on split screens on your TV today, Friday. But for me, having Obama back was, oh my gosh, here's the president speaking in tones of hope, optimism, American common destiny, rather than division and derision and bullying. And, you know, I think President Trump is right. This is quite exciting to hear people name-calling and, you know, and putting people down and announcing that somebody should be locked up, versus someone who is speaking about America as a tremendous experiment that's ongoing, and that we as an American people are in search of our common destiny.
But Juan, you know there were a lot of people who felt that President Obama was divisive, and he talked about things that split the country as well, and that there were those who felt, you know, he had his phrases and his, you know, if you want to say the whistles, the dog whistles that President Trump's always accused of using as well. I mean, people know what they're doing. I mean, politicians do this on both sides.
I think this is I think President Obama said today, Shannon, these are not normal times. And I think there's a tendency among all of us to want to say, well, look at Obama. I mean, he didn't call the press the enemy of the people, but remember when he tried to ban Fox from the White House pool? Or remember when he went after a journalist and he was going after leaks? And I think this is all true. But boy, what a difference in terms of saying, maybe we should look at who's licensing NBC. Or maybe we should do something to punish, as he's now suggesting, that have the Justice Department go after someone who wrote an anonymous article in the New York Times. And what did the person do? There was no national security issue. It's just that the person was a critic. That smacks of some kind of autocrat.
Well, Jason, do you think that that's more about the president has no real intentions of following through on those kinds of things, like yanking network licenses or telling the DOJ to go find the author of this thing? Or is it just that he knows what his audience and his base and his Twitter followers want to hear, and he likes to talk tough? He likes a fight.
Yeah, you know what I love about Donald Trump? He's exactly the same person he was when he was a candidate. He didn't switch. Remember where Barack Obama said, we're not the red states, we're not the blue states, we're the United States? And then he went and became one of the most divisive presidents in the history of this nation, Juan. The Democratic Party of today is of resistance. It's of a scorched earth. I won't even meet with the Supreme Court candidate. I'm going to vote no matter what. That is not helpful to this country, and the American people see through it. And Donald Trump has called out the media that has played on the Democratic side of the aisle every single step of the way, and that's why America reacted. They rejected an extension of the Obama administration. 30 of the 50 states went with Donald Trump, and thank goodness they did.
Jason, how can you say, I mean, really, the idea I wouldn't meet with a Supreme Court nominee. Have you heard of Merrick Garland? Have you heard of all the months?
That was coming.
I mean, you can't deny that. You opened yourself to that shot.
Okay.
But I mean, that's incredible.
All right.
No, you look at Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer. No. The Democrats set that precedent.